Hello everybody. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, hello. My name is Carly Gifford, and on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I post sit-down YouTube videos talking about TikTok drama, influencer beef, celebrity scandal, stuff of that nature. Now, before every video, I tell you guys what I'm drinking and which chapstick I'm using. I'm actually drinking water, which is amazing for me, and I'm using the Laneige Lip Glowy Balm in the flavor Vanilla. I finally finished my Salt Air one, so now I'm moving on to this one to use up, which shouldn't take too long because it's actually a pretty small tube, but I do like the consistency of it, and it doesn't have much of a smell to me or taste, so I don't know if that's good or bad to you, but that's how it seems to me. I think we will just jump right into today's video. Alright guys, today I took notes because I'm going purely based off of what these girls in the situations said in their videos, and so because of that I took notes because it's a lot, and we are going to go through each part of their videos. Well, mostly each part. Some is just them talking and whatever. But anyway, so today we are going to be talking about Riley and Melody. Now, Riley posts makeup content, lifestyle type content.
I'm getting ready for New Year's Eve, so it's only right to do my 2024 makeup wrapped. Let's get dressed for the Peach Bowl. ASU is playing today.
We made it!
Yeah! Really cold outside, but it's okay. Beauty is pain.
And Melody also posts makeup and lifestyle type content.
I went to 2 different Sephoras. That's like a problem. So, okay, in the first bag, I got the Drunk Elephant Intense Hydration Serum. Get ready with me to go to a nice Christmas dinner with my boyfriend while I show you all my favorite products that help me create my go-to kind of glowy, clean girl makeup look. Okay, so a super important part of this process is using the Merit Great Skin Instant Glow Serum.
Honestly, I think both girls do make pretty interesting videos. I didn't know who they were before this, but now I feel like I know a fair amount about them. Now, I actually saw Riley's video first and kind of listened to it, and then I was like, oh, okay, you know, whatever, good video, I guess, because it was a put a finger down video, so I was like, oh, I might not hear the other side of this story. Because I'm sure you guys know how it goes. A lot of times we hear one side of a put a finger down story and then not the other. Well, then I saw Melody's video, and at the very end, she shows a clip of Riley's video, and I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I actually did see that. So I went back, watched them, and this is essentially what happened from each girl's point of view. So, Riley lives in LA, and she said that she didn't have many friends, but then one of her mutual friends with Melody invited her out and was like, hey, I'm inviting this other girl, do you want to come hang out with us? And like I said, because she said that she didn't have a ton of friends in California, she went and they all hung out together.
Put a finger down if you were living in LA and you didn't really have many friends because you didn't know many people. So one of your friends at the time was like, hey, you should come hang out with me and so. So I went and hung out with that so-and-so, and it was an amazing day. We went to the Melrose Trading Post and, you know, hung out, did girly things.
Riley says that Melody kind of asked her about social media and how to grow her following on TikTok. So Riley was like, oh, watch my videos, see what works for me, you know, just kind of study what does well and kind of figure out why it does well, and then like you're pretty much set.
So-and-so starts asking how to grow on social media and what she should do, and she was working just like a normal store job, and she really wanted to do social media and she didn't know whatever. So I told her, oh, just like look at my stuff, like see what does best, like these makeup videos do the best, like see my setup, I just use a trending sound, blah blah blah. Super aesthetic, like yeah, just do something like that, see if it works for you, like keep doing that, blah blah blah.
And during this hangout, Riley tells Melody about this on again off again relationship that she has, and Melody was like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy, I'm dating a guy with the same name. It's not the same guy, but it was just something that they kind of bonded over, you know. It's a pretty shared experience, and honestly it's a common name, so
you know, you thought she was cool, so you're like, all right, might as well just bring her in on some of the tea that's going on in my life. So I start telling her about this guy that I've been dating for like 2 years, on and off, very toxic. At the moment, it was kind of off, so just kind of telling her the lore about that, and she was like, oh my gosh, that is so crazy because my boyfriend's name is the same name, and basically just bonded over that for a little bit, talked about it, you know, girly things, of course.
Now, at the time, Riley was hanging out with this guy that wasn't the guy that she was telling Melody about, but she was hanging out with like somebody else, and she said that eventually it just kind of fizzled, like it just didn't work out. So they broke up or just quit hanging.
But at the same time, you were kind of hanging out with this one guy, and you know, told her about that as well. It didn't work out.
And then Riley said that a few months later, she moves back to Arizona and she gets back together with this guy who had the same name as the guy that Melody was dating. Now, okay, just to make it easier, because Riley doesn't say the name of the guy, but his name is Nick, okay? Melody tells us in the next video. So this guy's name is Nick, and he was the original on-again, off-again boyfriend that Riley had. So she moves back to Arizona and gets back together with him.
Fast forward a couple months later, you move back to Arizona, you get back together with the guy that you were talking about.
And then later, Riley gets a call from the other guy that she just like kind of briefly hung out with, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm hanging out with Melody. And she's kind of like, okay, cool, like that's weird, but okay.
And then you get a call from the other guy in the situation. It was like, hey, guess who I've been hanging out with? And you're like, who? And they're like, so and so, she's so cool. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
And then Riley claims that Melody is posting videos that are copy and paste, word for word, face for face copies of her own videos. This is kind of annoying because, you guys, when it's makeup content, there's only so much of a variant that you can put on your video. Like, a lot of the makeup videos do genuinely just come out looking pretty similar. Now, granted, we have seen some instances like that Yuyi Chua, I can't remember how to pronounce her last name, but she like legit was copying fashion videos from somebody else, and like it legit was scary how much she was like action for action copying. It was weird. But in the makeup world, it's a little bit more difficult, I think, to create super different videos, if that makes sense. Not that it's impossible, but it's a little bit difficult.
But then I'm starting to see like a lot of her videos are literally like copy and paste, word for word, face for face, product for product. And I'm like, okay, this is a little bit weird. So you tell your boyfriend at the time about it because he's your best friend, and you're just gonna like tell him like the way you're feeling, and like if someone's like rubbing you the wrong way, like whatever. Anyways, end up unfollowing so and so because you don't want to see that anymore. Like, it's weird, giving you weird vibes. On top of the weird vibes from like the copy and paste type stuff, then she's talking to someone that I was just whatever.
So then after that, Riley goes and she does a semester at sea, and the guy Nick broke up with her because he's like, hey, I just want to be a kid, like I don't think I want to do this anymore, I want to enjoy my last year of college. And last year or last semester, I can't remember, but she's like, okay, well, that works out, because she says she wasn't really into it anymore either, and she was gonna be gone for 4 months. So she's like, okay, great, kind of don't care, great, you know, good riddance, sort of.
A couple months go by, I decide to go on semester at sea. Me and this guy end up breaking things off. He claims that he wants to enjoy his last year in college, and he wants to be a kid as for his last semester and whatever else. So you're like, okay, fine, like I'm literally gonna be in a different country for 4 months, so yeah, probably is what's right. I never was fully in it. I knew like it just wasn't meant for me, and I tried and I tried. So I was like, okay, this is the perfect time, whatever.
But then 3 months later, Riley has Melody's Instagram story sent to her, and it's of Melody wearing Nick's clothes, and she's like, okay, that's weird, you're making it known that you hung out or are hanging out with my ex-boyfriend, like great. So then Riley texts the guy and is like, oh, you wanted me to see that you were with somebody else and whatever. It's this whole conversation.
3 months later, you get a story sent to you, and it's so-and-so's Instagram story, and she posted about 4 stories that day. Keep in mind, she lives in California. Boy lives in Arizona, and it's a picture of her at his house in his t-shirt, whatever, 4 pictures, just like making it known. So I text him and I'm like, really, dude? Like, someone I talked to you about, someone I was friends with, like, come on now, like you could pick anyone else, right? He ends up saying like, I'm sorry, I didn't know you guys were friends, like I want to hang out with you hang out with someone in spite of you, blah, blah, blah.
And then 4 months later, Melody and Nick are pregnant. And Riley really doesn't like that because she's like, I thought you wanted to enjoy your last whatever semester or year of college, and now you're pregnant having a kid with somebody who you barely know. And she kind of goes on a little bit of a tirade at the end.
4 months later, you hear that they're pregnant. And you're like, this has to be a joke, right? This has to be a joke. So I'm just kind of like going on with my life, whatever. And then next thing I know, I'm hearing, yeah, she's so-and-so months along. And its name is, and I'm just like, okay, sick. Cool. So 4 months later, from a guy telling me he wants to be young and enjoy his last year, is now pregnant with a girl that he doesn't even know. One thing I will say, it's crazy to be done dirty, but it's even crazier to be done dirty and then the person who did the dirtying make you out to seem like you're crazy. I'm not crazy. And any girl that went through this or has gone through this or this would happen to would agree that that ain't right. And what I've realized now is it's just life. And now, I'm just very grateful that God pulled me out of a situation that I was no longer supposed to be in and made it to where I could never go back. So, thank you, God. Anyways, put a finger down. Oops, that's me.
But I feel like this is something that a lot of girls can relate to, that you were with someone for a long time, finally break up, and then like they quickly move on with another girl. So it is very much a shared experience, I think, and I think that's why that video did really well, because a lot of girls could relate to it. Now moving on to Melody's video. So she said that she already had a following for her makeup videos well before she got together and hung out with Riley. She was like, I didn't need Riley's help. I was already doing well, and if Riley gave me any advice, it was unsolicited.
First of all, let's talk about the day we met. Here's a photo. I did not reach out to her to hang out. I saw that was a thing. We both had a friend in common. She invited me separately than her. She invited us both to meet at the Melrose Trading Post, and I already had a following for makeup videos. She did not help me with my account, and I never asked her for advice. If she gave it to me, it was unsolicited.
She confirms that her and Riley were in fact dating, each dating different guys with the same name. That was in fact true.
I was in fact dating a guy named Nick at the time, and she probably was like, oh, my ex is named Nick. So that is very true.
But now Melody is dating Riley's ex, the on again off again guy, Nick. She's like, yep, we did start dating. Now she doesn't know who the other guy that Riley was talking to is. She's like, I'm sure Riley's gonna say I know who he is, but I don't. So that's kind of interesting.
She claimed to talk about her on and off again ex, which I now know is Nick. I still have no idea who the other person she claims is. Sure, she say I will know. I literally do not know. Again, this was 2 years ago. And we have not talked or seen each other since.
Now, how Nick and Melody sort of got together was his family is from San Diego, which is where Melody was living. So she thought he was from San Diego. He's not. He's like living in Arizona. But he asked her if she wanted to go on a boat date. And it seems like they did meet each other, like maybe through some different friends or something. And that's sort of how they started talking. It doesn't sound like they met through Riley though, because it doesn't sound like Melody and Riley were really that good of friends. From both videos, you get that sort of feeling, is that they maybe hung out a few times and then that was sort of it. Plus, Riley moved to Arizona at some point, so.
Since, like she said in her video, they were off and on. There were no pictures of them or videos of them on their Instagram. I also was not following her when she had this relationship. I seriously had no correlation in my mind of these people. She only now has videos of them up on her TikTok because when she found out I was pregnant, which I know exactly when, she unarchived every single video of them on their TikTok. I'm assuming she did that so people could see that they were the same guy, especially when she was going to start posting videos about me or hinting at drama. They would see them and connect the dots, which I think is super calculated and weird. Flash forward to last year, I was living in San Diego, Nick in Arizona. She's saying that I purposely sought him out and dated him because I wanted to be her. Like I said before, I had never seen any pictures or videos of them together. She had them all taken down, and Nick's family lives in San Diego, and he is from there. It's in his bio. He invited me to have a boat day, which I thought was going to be in San Diego because I thought he was from San Diego. However, after talking for a bit, he was the boat day would be in Arizona, and he flew me out with my friends. But yeah, so it was like a group activity.
So Melody says that the boat thing, it was a group thing. Once she figured out that Nick lives in Arizona and that the boat date was going to be in Arizona, he flew everybody out, and it was like them and a bunch of different friends. It wasn't like a one-on-one date type of thing. And Melody said that she didn't put it together at the time that it was the same Nick that Riley was talking about. And she said that the reason her and her friend were each wearing Nick's shirts was because they didn't have oversized baggy t-shirts with them, and when they were on the boat not swimming or whatever, instead of just sitting in their bikinis, they wanted to have an oversized t-shirt on, which totally makes sense.
I posted pictures on the boat, posted pictures from the lake, posted pictures of me and my girlfriends. We were both wearing Nick's shirts because our clothes are wet, and we needed an oversized t-shirt to be on the boat when you weren't just gonna be in your bikini. But that was in no way me trying to show off that I was at his house. Number one, I still didn't even know that they were correlated. Number two, we didn't follow each other on Instagram, so I don't even, why would I ever think that she would see that?
But then she says that yes, after the boat date and everything, then Riley did in fact text Nick and called him, and he said that that was something that she would commonly do when he posted with other girls.
After that weekend, she texted him that me and her were best friends. However, he told me that this was a common occurrence from her when it came to other girls that he had talked to. So this has happened before.
And yep, after dating for a little bit, it soon became clear that Melody was in fact pregnant. She said it was an oopsie, but that doesn't mean that it's like that they're unhappy about it. But she was like, it wasn't planned, because they're both like, I think 22 or 23, so they're both very young to be parents. But you know, whatever, you roll with life, you know. So then Melody moved to Arizona to be with Nick because that's where his job is. She can do her job from anywhere, she says, and also the cost of living in Arizona is much cheaper than in San Diego. So she was like, it just made a lot of sense for them to stay living in Arizona and to have her move to Arizona to be with him, and then he could keep his job.
I later found out that I was pregnant after we were already dating, which is not on purpose, clearly. I did not intentionally try to get pregnant. It's not going to change the fact that I am. I intentionally did not try to get pregnant to trap him or to steal him away from Riley, because number one, they weren't together. Number two, I'm trapping myself too. Like, that's not, is a trapping for both. So that is just how that usually works. We wanted to keep the pregnancy personal for many reasons, but mostly because we wanted to figure out everything in our personal lives first with our families and living situations and all things that go into navigating this journey. I moved to Arizona not because I wanted to be like her. Arizona low-key sucks. I moved to Arizona not because I wanted her life, but because it's so much more affordable here, and me and Nick are going to be young parents, and we need to be able to afford having a kid. And in San Diego, that is so much more difficult. His job was here. I can do my job anywhere. Financially made way more sense for me to move to Arizona.
Nick and Melody are now engaged. Riley talked about it on social media, which is kind of weird.
This was honestly super stressful for me because I wasn't ready to share that personal part of my life with the internet, and had wanted to kind of keep it special just for me and for Nick and those close to us. We also got engaged, which was super exciting for me and a really special day, and then she posted about it, trying to make it about herself and talking about it on lives multiple times.
Why aren't you happy? Like, just forget about it. It's not bad. I don't miss the guy. It's funny how, like, no one really knows what's going on. Stop trying to act like, I don't know. Bro, it's weird.
And then as for Melody copying Riley's content, this is kind of her response, which I think is a pretty good one.
Moving on to her thinking I copy everything she does.
Does every little thing I do. Now lives here and literally does post every little thing, does her makeup exactly like me, uses the same products. Like, it's weird because, like, my ex is probably like, bro, why are you trying to be exactly like her?
And honestly, this is like the part that I think like I'm getting the most comments on. Like, I think this part matters the most. Like I said, I explained the reason why I moved to Arizona, not to be like her. Me meeting Nick had nothing to do with her. I've done makeup videos since before our one encounter. We are both makeup content creators. She posts other things than I do. I post other things than she does. I'm sure we both receive the same PR, which I'm obviously going to use, which means I'm sure a lot of our products are going to be the same. However, if I picked a 22-year-old girl off the street, we both opened our makeup bags, I'm sure half those products will also be the same. We are not niche here, okay? Everybody does this.
Okay, that is essentially the situation though. So if you've been getting Riley Melody TikTok on your For You page, that is what's going on. Basically, Riley is sour because Melody is with her ex-boyfriend. But they weren't really good friends from what it sounds like, so I'm kind of like, eh. And you know, honestly, if it's someone that you yourself admit that you weren't really into and were like fine with breaking up, why would you be so pressed that somebody else is dating them? Someone that you were sort of friends with? I don't know. For me personally, I don't really get that. I mean, as long as everyone's happy, who cares? So anyways, that is the Riley and Melody and Nick situation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye guys.